Hey guys, here we are at 5th part of the story. Weakened to their breaking point, the allied shinobi forces have little chance of survival. The Jubi had fired a colossal Bijudama in their direction. The former Hokage are too busy trying to save them to focus on Kurama and the rest of the Biju's final plan of action. We will see as Naruto and Sakura go back in time to prevent disaster. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Now, let's jump right in. Team 7 is Shibuki. He is the present leader of Takigaku no Sato. Hiruzen said as Team 7 and their Jonin captain walked into the room. Inside, Hiruzen was sitting on the couch that was placed in one side with a small coffee table in front of it. Sitting on the couch placed at a right angle to the one Hiruzen was sitting was a black-haired man about Kakashi's age wearing the uniform of a Taki ninja. All members of Team 7 nodded their heads to Shibuki before turning their attention towards Hiruzen. The aged Hokage took a sip from his teacup before speaking. Shibuki came here with an interesting proposal. I don't know if you are aware, but the Nanabi no Kabutamushi is in Taki. Ever since Hashirama-sensei spread out the Biju among the nations, it has been there. Until now, none of the Jinchuriki have ever been treated well, even though Taki has never faced the wrath of one. So let me guess, Gigi, the present Jinchuriki is ostracized for a burden they didn't want? Naruto asked with a cold tone, causing a shiver to run down Shibuki's spine. That's right, Naruto-kun. Young Fu is somewhat like a surrogate sister to Shibuki. He came to us with hopes that you can help her overcome some issues she has been having after mastering the third tail. That is a mission for Konoha. He also wishes to speak with you privately as the Uzumaki clan head. From what I could gather, he wishes to procure the skills of the Uzumaki. If Naruto accepts Shibuki's request, then the parameters of the mission will change from escort Shibuki back to Taki and help young Fu to include protection detail for Naruto while he does the second mission. Naruto, please remain behind. The rest of Team 7 accompany me to the adjacent room while Shibuki and Naruto talks over the details of the second mission, Hiruzen said, standing up with an imperious demeanor before walking out of the room with the rest of Team 7 walking behind him. Naruto and Shibuki stared at each other for a few moments before Naruto occupied the recently vacated couch. With a nod, Naruto motioned for Shibuki to speak. A good day to you, Naruto-sama. I wish to procure your clan's skills in Fuinjutsu to check the seal on Fu. The last of Taki's Fuinjutsu masters were killed on a mission recently. I need someone to check her seal, as I fear that the last use of 4 taels worth of Nanabi's chakra may have corroded it. Along with that, I would like you to check the seals that help us maintain our secrecy. Taki would be happy to pay whatever you want for the job. Naruto silently pondered for a moment before speaking. So let me get this straight, you want me to check her seal along with the seals Senjumito gifted your village as you fear that they may have been damaged and you have no Fuinjutsu experts at the moment. And you are willing to pay any price I would declare? Shibuki nodded in agreement with everything Naruto said until the price for the job came up. With how Naruto stated it, Shibuki realized the major loophole he left. With an embarrassed smile, Shibuki corrected, any price within reason. Naruto nodded with a grin. New to politics? Yeah, I became the leader a couple of months ago. I had trained for a long time under father, but taking the seat is still difficult, especially since I don't have the active experience in politics and business deals. Lucky for you, I am not a malicious person. With the loophole you left, I could have asked for the destruction of Taki and you would be honor-bound to follow through or be branded as honorless fools. Anyway, I accept the job. The standard price we asked for routine maintenance of a single seal of the caliber you want me to check is equivalent to an S-rank mission price, though it may increase if you want changes done to the seals. Though I am willing to give you a discount as the first customer since the re-emergence of the clan. You will only have to pay the cost of an A-ranked mission per seal. Though the Jinchuriki's seal will still need SS rank pay as is the price. Shibuki rubbed his chin as he thought of the price Naruto asked before nodding in agreement. I agree with your price, Naruto-sama. The security of my village is at stake. I shouldn't be a cheapskate about price in such situations. Naruto nodded as he unsealed a blood seal contract and filled in the particulars for the job and the price before placing a drop of blood on one of the seals at the bottom of the document. Before placing another drop on another seal, Shibuki watched amazed as the seals glowed red before vanishing, leaving behind the final seal. Place a drop of your blood on the final seal to finalize the job, Naruto said as he turned the document to Shibuki. The leader of Taki nodded as he quickly went through the document before placing the requested drop of blood on the seal. To his surprise, right after the seal vanished, 2 identical copies of the document appeared atop the contract in a puff of smoke. What happened? Shibuki asked with confusion. Naruto chuckled and said, "The contract makes 2 copies when the job is finalized. There are hidden seals engraved on the document that makes it possible. All 3 copies are tamper-proof. Keep the lowest one, the other 2 are meant for the Uzumaki archives and the clan member who is meant to do the work, which in this case is me." Shibuki nodded and returned the top 2 copies to Naruto. "I plan to leave early in the morning tomorrow, Naruto-sama. I hope that isn't a problem with you?" "Not at all, Shibuki-san. I will inform my team. Are you returning to the Golden Leaf?" "That's the plan. It is already late in the evening, the sun has nearly set. I want to make sure that I am rested for the journey back. After Takahito died, we have become a bit paranoid." Naruto nodded with a sad smile. "I understand. The Anbu will escort you back. Have a good night, Shibuki-san." "To you as well, Naruto-sama," Shibuki said as he walked out of the room and motioned for the Anbu standing outside to lead him back. "So did you take the job, Naruto?" Naruto turned his head and smiled at the source of the voice, which turned out to be Sakura. The pink-haired medic was sitting on her favorite red cushion drinking a cup of herbal tea. "Sure did, though I didn't expect a clan job so soon." Sakura hummed as she placed her cup on the small table in front of her and poured another cup for Naruto, who scrunched up his nose in disgust but without prompting, sat down on the orange cushion opposite his teammate and took the cup of tea before taking a small sip. Surprisingly, he didn't taste the expected bitter taste the previous cups of tea held. Seeing the surprised look, Sakura giggled before saying, "Doesn't taste like you expected, did you?" Naruto shook his head as he placed the cup on the table. "It was not bitter like I expected. I thought it was medicine that would help with the malnutrition." "It is, but not the kind I gave you last time. The previous tea has run its course. In the past 2 months, your body has recovered faster than expected, but I believe that Kurama helped in that aspect. This one is to help get the most nutrition from the smallest of intakes. Tsunade-sama and I were experimenting with it right before pain attacked. It was showing great results. That's why I am also taking it. It will help us regain our physical forms faster and help maintain it with less ration as well." Naruto shrugged before saying, "This is the better tasting medicine I have taken yet. It should be. It is a blend of medicinal herbs with some of the most exquisite tea from Chanokuni. Originally it wasn't this good tasting. After coming back, I had been experimenting with different blends to make it this good, especially for you since you tend to complain against the taste of the medicinal tea," Sakura said with a small smile, getting a large grin from Naruto in return. "Thanks, Sakura-chan. You are awesome. If it was Butchin, she would have force-fed me the yucky tasting tea." Sakura shook her head with fondness before her face hosted a serious expression. "That isn't true. Besides, you didn't answer my question." Naruto nodded. "I accepted the job. It was a routine seal maintenance job. I have already learned enough to do that. I will have to look at Fu's seal as well. Shibuki fears that the seal is degrading. We know that isn't the case, as you had yourself seen her in action 2 years from now, but there may be changes in this timeline." "That is true. So much has changed this time around, yet some things are still the same. Are you planning to give Chome her memories when you check up on the seal?" "That's the plan. It will be easier than sneaking into Taki, but I didn't expect the mission to escort Shibuki already. We haven't been to Nami yet. It is still nearly a month away before Tazuna comes to Konoha." Sakura nodded in agreement before saying, "That's true, but he may have been here due to the death of his representative. He just used this opportunity to come here earlier. Then again, he may have ulterior motives. He is the leader of a powerful village. Taki may be small, but no invasion against it has ever succeeded unless a former Taki ninja was involved." Naruto nodded before his eyes widened in shock. "Sakura, I think that there is a seal that can be added to Taki's defenses that would incapacitate Kakuzu and any such traitors." Sakura looked pensive before saying, "Like the one surrounding the compound?" "Exactly like the one surrounding the compound. Just have to tweak it a little to increase the size of the barrier to encompass the whole of Taki. With proper tweaks, we can even have all of Konoha under that seal." "That's all well and good, Naruto, but why give it to Taki? They may be allies at the moment, but that can easily change in the future. The seal has some weaknesses. Toby would easily be able to bypass it. The seal need the target to touch the barrier to start tracking. Then there is the problem of it not extending underground. Zetsu can bypass it as well. I plan to give that version to Taki. It would protect Fu as long as she isn't kicked out of Taki. I will leave a loophole to monitor the situation." Sakura nodded in agreement before saying, "Why not ask for Fu and the Nanabi as payment for the seal?" Naruto blinked owlishly for a moment before saying with a sad tone, "That thought didn't cross my mind, though I doubt they would be willing to part with their Jinchuriki. To most, we are weapons after all." Sakura nodded in agreement as she drained her cup of tea before standing up. "Shibuki plans to leave in the morning, right?" "That's right. Kakashi-sensei informed you and Sasuke?" Sakura nodded. "He did, and he said that we need to be early. Like he is one to talk, the hypocrite. Even after the threats, he still comes late." Naruto gave an awkward laugh. "Ha ha ha. That's Kakashi-sensei for you. At least he is only a few minutes late now instead of 3 hours. Still, he is a jonin. He should be a bit more professional. Anyway, good night Naruto. See you at the gate." Naruto nodded as Sakura vanished in a puff of smoke. "Naruto, are you really going to go through with your plan? Your teammate won't like it. Especially since you haven't discussed it with her." The deep rumbling voice of Kurama reverberated through Naruto's mind. "You are worrying for nothing. I have a feeling that it would be needed. Having a backup plan is always good. I have rushed into danger without one too many times in the past to not plan ahead from now on. Especially since our opponent is Madara and Tobi." Kurama gave a mental equivalent of a shrug before going quiet, leaving Naruto to his own thoughts. Next morning, Sakura was the first one to arrive at the main gates. She looked around before sighing in annoyance right before Naruto and Sasuke appeared in a sunshine. "Morning you two. Get any sleep?" Naruto gave a big yawn before grumbling out, "Not really. I needed to check through some of the sealing notes on the seal that my clan gifted to Taki. I do think my plan is feasible." Sasuke just grunted in greeting before looking at Naruto with curiosity. "What plan, Naruto?" "Huh. Oh right, you didn't come by last night? As I said to Sakura, a barrier similar to the one that surrounds my compound can be integrated into the present formula without much problem. Still, do you think it wise to strengthen a foreign village like that?" Sakura said with a frown. Sasuke frowned as well, only for Naruto to wave off the concern. "It isn't like I am not leaving a back door in it. Besides, it has a weakness to Jikuken ninjutsu and tunneling under the barrier, remember? Still, I think that your concern isn't necessary, Sakura. It has such a massive glaring hole in the structure. Granted, Jikuken ninjutsu isn't common, but tunneling under the barrier, which must be barely a couple of inches thick, can be easily done." He offers his hand in friendship while leaving clutching a dagger behind his back. It is a wise precaution. Besides, he doesn't need to let Taki know about the glaring weaknesses, Sasuke said with a grin. Sakura huffed but nodded in agreement that the plan was sound. She was about to open her mouth to speak when Shibuki appeared with Kakashi. "Good morning team. I hope you all are packed and ready to go?" Kakashi asked, getting nods from his team as each of them brought out storage scrolls, or in Naruto's case pointed to a massive scroll strapped to his back. Kakashi nodded in satisfaction before saying, "We are going to travel in arrowhead formation with Sasuke taking point, Naruto your left wingman, Sakura your right wingman, Shibuki directly behind you, with me taking up the rear. Any questions?" Sasuke looked at his two teammates before speaking up. "What speed are we moving at?" "Mid-tuning. I know that Naruto and Sakura can maintain that for over 10 hours before being tired, while in Sakura's case, Naruto has enough stamina to put Guy to shame. Anyway, how long do you think you can maintain it?" 6, 7 hours tops. Naruto and Sakura have forced me to increase my stamina along with my speed during our personal team training for the past month. I should be fine to fight if we keep in that time span." Kakashi nodded while Shibuki looked startled at the revelation. He didn't think that the Jonin of Konoha were that capable. Sure, Naruto was a monster, but he was also an Uzumaki and a Jinchuriki. It was expected of him. But two Jonin, one from a civilian family and the other from the famous Uchiha clan, but only a handful of Uchiha have ever come to become something great. The rest were just mediocre at best. What kind of training creates such monsters? Get in formation in front of the gate. I will handle the sign out with Izumo and Kotetsu. Do an equipment check while I do that, Kakashi said as he approached the small hut. Behind him, his team and Shibuki got into their assigned positions before checking over themselves for their equipment. After a couple of minutes, Kakashi took up his position and gave the signal to move, causing the group to rush out of the gates and vanish into the trees. The group traveled towards Taki at mid-tuning speed, taking small rests every 6 hours to give Sasuke and apparently Shibuki a respite to catch their breaths. With all the rests, it still took the group 3 days to reach Taki. As the group approached a large waterfall, Shibuki called for them to stop just as multiple Taki ninja appeared from the trees surrounding the waterfall. "Shibuki-sama, you have finally returned. I hope that you didn't have any problems on the road?" a petite kunoichi asked with a smile as she looked at the Konoha ninja escorting her leader. "None at all, Koto, no trouble here, I hope? We did have a bit of a problem last night from Kaneko trying to get back in without the proper paperwork, but that was easily solved. I still don't know why you allow her to stay as a kunoichi. She keeps misplacing her ID," Koto said with a huff. Shibuki just shook his head in exasperation but nodded. "I will give her another warning. Now open up the gates, Koto. Uzumaki-sama has accepted the job." Koto nodded to her leader before turning to the Konoha ninja and with a bow directed to Naruto, said, "Welcome to Taki Uzumaki-sama and comrades. I hope you will find your stay here pleasing." Haru opened the gate. "Yes, Deiko," the shinobi standing on a ledge said as he took out a stone key with seals carved on it. Placing the key in a hidden slot behind him, the man turned then key clockwise. With a low groaning, a large spire of rock emerged from the waterfall separating the curtain into two, leaving behind a massive gaping maw in between. "Well, follow me. Be sure to step only where I step," Shibuki said with a grim expression causing drops of sweat to form on Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura's foreheads. "The booby trap's right. That's why we use the official entrance instead of the usual one?" Naruto said with a mischievous grin causing Shibuki to look at the blonde Jinchuriki in shock. "How did you know? I can sense everything within 10 kilometers of me. That means I knew that we were going towards the official entrance instead of the secondary one, but I agree with the sentiment. Never show your main entrance to foreigners. That was a mistake my clan made in the past and paid for it." Shibuki nodded. "I see, Naruto-sama. Then you can sense Taki as well?" Naruto nodded, causing the leader to sigh. "Well, I believe that most sensors can barely feel 3 furlongs. You are the exception, so I don't think it is a danger, but is there any way to confuse sensory abilities? There are a few barriers, but they won't stop anyone like me. My abilities come from both emotion sensing and sensing life instead of chakra, which in turns comes from my Senjutsu. So I don't think you would need such an addition. Of course, if you are willing to pay for it, I can integrate it into the seal." Shibuki looked surprised but grinned at the subtle jab. Behind them, the remaining members of Team 7 were grinning as well. "We can discuss it later, Naruto-sama, but first, welcome to Taki, proper." Team 7 looked on in awe as they laid their eyes on the massive tree that grew in the middle of the village surrounded by a body of pristine clear water. Well, Naruto and Sakura had already seen the village once, but they didn't have the chance to admire it last time, not with the grumbling they were doing for being assigned that stupid cleaning job. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Team 7 nodded in agreement before Naruto sensed someone above. Before anyone realized what happened, Naruto had vanished in a swirl of wind. "What happened?" Shibuki shouted in shock, only for Sakura to look up with an annoyed expression on her face, as she was greeted to the sight of a mint-haired, tan-skinned girl with orange eyes, wearing white midriff shirt and apron skirt over fishnet armor and shorts. Her hitate was tied to her right arm. "Shibuki-sama, is that Taki's Jinchuriki?" Shibuki looked up in the direction Sakura pointed to see Naruto float in front of a stunned Fu, who had her fist connected to Naruto's. "Fu, Shibuki-sama has returned. Go and keep an eye on him. Foreign dignitaries are accompanying him," Fu said to herself in a mocking tone. "What do they take me for? I may be a Jinchuriki, but I still need rest. Damned elders." Fu looked down as she flew above the official entrance and saw Shibuki being accompanied by a shinobi she recognized as Hokage Kakashi. Along with him must have been his Genin team, Fu realized, though she felt a strange sense of familiarity with the blonde Genin. As she hovered above the group, she saw the blonde Genin suddenly vanish from existence. Before she could react, the same blonde appeared out of thin air in front of her with a grin on his face. She saw that the boy looked friendly as he extended his right fist to her. Though wary of his intentions, Fu extended her fist and met his right before her eyes widened in shock. Fu looked around the place she suddenly found herself in. It was a wide expanse of space. She saw that she was the only one present before she turned around to see Chome behind her, completely unrestrained. "Chome, what's going on?" Fu asked with confusion, only for Chome to look right past her as the Bijou spoke to her. "We are in the mental dimension we Bijou can use to communicate with each other, and through us our Jinchuriki. So Kurama, what do you and your Jinchuriki want? Though I must confess I am shocked to see you getting along with your Jinchuriki." "What are you talking about, Chome? We are the only ones here," Fu said before the sound of clapping caught her attention. Turning around, she came face to face with the same blonde-haired boy with whom she bumped fists. Behind him was the majestic Kyubi no Yoko, grinning at her. "Ah. Hi, I am Fu," the girl said with an awkward smile. This situation was way out of her comfort zone. "The name's Uzumaki Naruto. So Fu, tell me, were you mistreated here?" Naruto asked with a nonchalant tone, causing Fu to glare at the blonde. "You should know? I mean, you're a Jinchuriki after all." Naruto gave an understanding smile before saying, "Let me rephrase it. How badly were you treated?" Fu became suspicious. "Why are you interested?" "To see if you have any reason to leave your village. There is a group S-ranked nukemen working together, all 9 bijou. If you plan to leave your village, you would be vulnerable. I would be willing to offer you a place as a retainer of the Uzumaki clan, thereby under both our protection and Konoha's. So tell me?" Fu looked at Naruto and Kurama with suspicion before sighing, "Nothing more than verbal and mental abuse. They didn't dare harm me physically out of fear of releasing Chomei. Neither did they try to rape me. I don't really have many people I love here. Only Shibuki and my sensei. I know that the elders were planning to exile me if I lose control again." Shibuki denied it, but my insects heard them talking. "So what about you? How was your life?" "Much like yours, but I never gave up and finally gained recognition." "Well, the elders and Shibuki fear that your seal has weakened, though I doubt it. If I am not mistaken, Taki was given the Gachu Tekken Fun. It shouldn't corrode even if Kyuki's full power is used. I know for a fact that it is the same seal that Kirabai, the Hachibi Jinchuriki, has, and he can easily access Bijou Modo. But she doesn't have that seal. It hasn't been used since a couple of years after the fall of Uzu when my first Jinchuriki died. She has the Shishinsina Choko Fun," Chomei said, getting a growl from Naruto. "And where did they get it?" "No, don't answer that. I can use the seal to force some concessions. Using stolen jutsu from a royal clan right after the genocide of the clan is a criminal offense." "Taki is on thin ice now," Naruto said with a grin that Kurama mirrored. "You aren't going to destroy Taki, are you?" Fu asked with trepidation. "No, I won't, but the elders will wish I did. Besides, because of the usage of an Uzumaki seal without permission is a breach of contract. The reason why Shibuki approached me was to renew the contract between Taki and Uzu. Besides, it wasn't designed to hold back a bijou. It is amazing that it hasn't failed, but it may be because of Chomei's milder temperament," Naruto hypothesized, getting a chuckle from Kurama. "Naruto, will you get on with the reason we made contact?" Kurama said as she tried to slam his paw into Naruto only for the boy to catch it with ease. Chomei and Fu watched in shock at the interaction as Naruto growled at the large fox, "Stop that, Kurama. Anyway, do you recognize this Chomei?" Naruto raised his palm and in it coalesced a flame-like chakra, but unlike normal chakra, which was blue, this was red. Chomei gasped in shock while Fu looked at it with confusion. "So, that's just bijou chakra? Kyubi's right? How did you get that?" Chomei asked, suddenly furious. "I walk amongst the ghosts. Here, take it," Naruto said as he threw the flaming chakra to Chomei, who caught it in one of her tails. Fu looked confused, but before she could say anything, Chomei touched Naruto on the stomach with her tail. "Here is the gift back. You are wise to include us in your plans. I will make sure that Fu gets strong enough to be able to survive using my chakra completely. Though how will she master her dark side? I will ask Gamamaru-sensei. Now Fu, don't react when I ask to see her Gachu Tekken Fun. It is best no one knows about what happened. Chomei, fill her in on the thread. We will see you later," Naruto said before he and Kurama faded from view. After they had completely faded, Fu turned to Chomei and asked the question that was plaguing her mind. "What really happened, Chomei? At first, you were suspicious, but after he gave that chakra you changed." "It was my chakra. Chakra I had willingly gifted to the young man. He is very important, Fu. Follow his lead. He is the only one I can trust to lead us through the approaching dark times. He is the Yogen no Ko. The one prophesied to save the world, or destroy it. With our help, it will be the former." Fu looked surprised but nodded. "All right, Chomei, I will trust him, because you do. That's good, little one. We better get out of here. We will talk later." Fu nodded before both faded as well. Fu stumbled for a moment before she was caught in the embrace of a gentle wind, which gently lowered her down to the ground right in front of Shibuki and the rest of Team 7. Fu looked disoriented for a moment before looking up at Shibuki with a smile. "Welcome back, Shibuki. Didn't face any assassination attempts without me, did you?" Everyone on Team 7 stared at the mid-haired kunoichi with deadpan expressions while Shibuki just fondly shook his head before pulling the girl into an embrace. Good to see you as well, Fu, and no, we didn't face any assassination attempts. Getting out of the embrace, Fu pouted and said, that's good, but why didn't you take me with you? It was boring here without you to annoy. Shibuki smiled before turning to Team 7, this is Taki's Jinchuriki, Fu, though I believe that you already realized it, Naruto-sama. Naruto nodded, that I did. Kurama and I already had a conversation with her and Chomei. From what I could gather, Chomei isn't actively working against her, in fact, Chomei has a fondness for Fu. That makes it easier for her to master Chomei's power. The reason she can't use more than the four-tailed cloak is because she hasn't dealt with the darkness within herself. It is a must for any Jinchuriki to access above four tails. That will require intense meditation and soul-searching on Fu's part. Fu looked surprised, as did Shibuki, Kakashi, and Sasuke. Fu stepped forward and asked, you mean to say that I will have to sit still for hours, meditating and soul-searching before I can synchronize with Chomei? Naruto nodded, causing Fu to violently curse. Shibuki just looked at the cursing girl with affection before saying, I think you just disappointed Fu. She seems to suffer from ADHD. She can't stay still for more than a few moments. Fu glared at Shibuki as everyone laughed. So was Naruto. He wasn't as very hyperactive. I have calmed down a lot, Kakashi-sensei. Becoming a sage requires patience. Granted, learning to sit completely still was a pain in the ass, but I succeeded and became that much more powerful for it. I have to agree with Naruto, sensei. He has truly calmed down a lot, though I think that this hyperactivity common among higher Jinchuriki may be due to the massive amounts of chakra their bijou contain. Leave the medical theories at home, Sakura. None of us want to sit through a lecture that none of us can understand. Kakashi admonished, causing the girl to huff in annoyance. None of you understand the beauty of medical ninjutsu and theory. There are no subtlety in any of your techniques. I can injure you in such a way that you will die a few days later and no one would even realize why. Everyone shivered in realization of how dangerous a fully trained Irionin was. Naruto turned to Sakura with a grin and said, that may be true, but you prefer the unsubtle ways as well. Your monstrous strength is a testament to that fact. Shibuki-san, we should head towards the village. After finding a secure place, I can check Fu's seal. Oh. So that's the kind of person you are? We haven't met even an hour and you're trying to get me out of my clothes. Smooth 9. Fu said with a teasing grin, causing Naruto to stumble in his step before vehemently declining her statement. No, I wasn't. Besides, I was hired to check the seal. Naruto spotted out, causing everyone to chuckle at his expense. I was just teasing, besides we're ninja. Standard morality doesn't really apply to us. After all, the villages train kids to become assassins. Fu said with a somber tone as everyone nodded in agreement with the girl. After that, the group walked down the path heading towards the village in silence. The members of Team 7 looking about their surroundings, trying to take in the rare sight of Taki. A sight that very few foreigners have the chance to witness. Shibuki and the 5 village elders were standing outside the room in which Naruto was examining Fu's seal with Sakura as the medic in standby. Sasuke and Kakashi were leaning on the opposite wall staring at the door with frowns. Does standard seal maintenance really take this long, Kakashi-sensei? Sasuke asked with a frown. Kakashi mirrored Sasuke's frown, not really, unless the seal has really deteriorated that Naruto has to practically rebuild the seal. Let's hope that isn't the case. Near them, the elders and Shibuki frowned at the thought. Sasuke nodded before asking, why was Sakura allowed in while we weren't? Sakura is the medic monitoring Fu's health. If Naruto has to rebuild the seal, it will be Sakura's duty to stabilize her while Naruto rebuilds the broken seal. You may not know this, but if the bijou is ripped from its Jinchuriki, the container dies. Rebuilding the seal causes similar damage to the Jinchuriki's chakra coils. The medic's job is to heal the damage before it can become permanent. Sasuke nodded in understanding before Kakashi said, that and because Fu and Naruto are of opposite gender. A moderator is usually there as well so nothing inappropriate happens. Not that Naruto would do anything inappropriate, but it is just a precaution so that no one can accuse him of being inappropriate. A click drew the attention of everyone. Looking towards the room, the heavy wooden door swung open followed by an infuriated Naruto with a meek Fu following him, supported by Sakura. Naruto-sama, what is the condition of the seal? One of the elders asked with a haughty tone, only for his expression to wilt in the presence of Naruto's anger. When was the seal changed? The elders and Shibuki looked confused as Sakura motioned for Sasuke to help her support Fu towards the balcony. Another elder, an old woman nearly in her 80s, stepped forward. That has been the seal used by Taki for 2 generations now. Fu's predecessor also had that seal. Is that so? Naruto asked with an imperious raising of his eyebrow, causing Kakashi to look startled. Naruto's demeanor told him that it was no longer the Naruto he knew, but the Uzu daimyo who was speaking. That's right, Naruto-sama. Another elder said with a simper, causing Naruto to glare at them. And did you know that the seal used is much too weak to be effective? What happened to the seal Mito-sama had gifted to Taki? The Gachu Tekkenfun? Shibuki asked, getting a nod from Naruto. The elders had forbidden its use after the fall of Uzu. 2 years after the fall, they were able to acquire the seal during my grandfather's reign and authorized the change. Naruto turned his suddenly golden eyes on the nervous group of elders before asking in a monotone, "Let me get this straight. Your lot illegally got your hands on Uzumaki clan property, and instead of returning it to Mito-sama, you decided to keep it. Not only that, without understanding the consequences, you ordered the change on the operating seal for your Jinchuriki. Did I make a mistake?" The 5 elders looked at each other nervously before turning to Naruto and said, "We sent a letter to Mito-sama, but never received an answer. As we asked for permission to use the seal, when no reply came, we assumed Mito-sama didn't object." "I see, so you sent a letter to Mito-sama? Do you take me for a fool? I can sense your emotions and can easily tell that you are lying. No one in this world can lie to me. That is a black mark against you. Do you know what happens to those who steal from a royal clan?" Shibuki looked startled at the revelation. He was now afraid of the retribution Naruto could legally bring down on Taki. If he wanted, Naruto could easily destroy Taki, and no one would say anything in protest. After all, he was the slighted party. The elders paled in realization. "That's right. If I was cruel, I could have asked for the enslavement of the whole of Taki and then send you all to the mines owned by my clan. Luckily for you, I only ask 2 things. Fu will be released from Taki into my care as a retainer. Second, execution of you 5 elders for abetting theft and fraud against a royal clan. Shibuki, I expect to hear these 5 have been executed by tomorrow, and make sure that Fu's discharge and transfer papers are ready by the time I have done with the barrier seals. I was going to update them with a new feature for free, but due to the transgressions of your country against my clan, I shall not. Also know this, the treaty between Taki and Uzu is hereby dissolved. You will need to renegotiate a treaty if you wish to keep an alliance with Uzu. Remember this, your alliance with Konoha is a direct result of your alliance with us," Naruto said before walking towards the balcony with Kakashi following him. Fu sat down on the bench with a little help from Sasuke and Sakura. With shaking hands, Fu took the water flask Sakura offered her and took a long draught before handing the flask back. "That was the worst situation I have ever been through. Luckily, I won't have to go through a similar situation in the future." Sakura giggled before saying, "Then make sure you don't get pregnant. A female Jinchuriki seal has a high chance to break during childbirth. It's what happened with Naruto's mother." Fu's eyes widened in shock as she stuttered out, "Naruto's mother was his predecessor?" Sakura nodded with a solemn expression. Her lips pulled into a tight line. "It is quite sad that Yondaime-sama, a world-renowned Fuinjutsu master, was unable to repair the seal holding the fox back. Then again, the power of the Kyuubi is nearly unimaginable." Fu was about to speak when Naruto and Kakashi walked onto the balcony, both wearing aggravated expressions. Sasuke stared at the duo with a frown just before the 5 elders rushed in after them, with Shibuki not far behind them. "Who do you think you are, Uzumaki?" one of the elders growled out. "How dare you threaten and order us about? The Taki daimyo won't agree with your demands," another elder exclaimed while the female elder was trying to make them see reason. Naruto turned his golden eyes on the elders, causing them to freeze. With a glower, Naruto hissed out, "Who am I? How dare I threaten and order you? The Taki daimyo won't agree with my demands. You should be thanking me that I was merciful enough to only ask for your lives only, and that Fu be released to me as payment of the transgressions against my clan. I can guarantee that your daimyo will agree with my demands and in fact add more punishments onto Taki. I think you don't realize the precarious position you are in. Abetting theft and fraud against a noble clan will have you all hanged at minimum. Against a royal clan, you can understand the consequences." Sasuke walked up beside his teammate and asked, "What's going on, Naruto?" The elders had the gall to use the stolen Uzumaki proprietary seal, an ineffective one mind you, without permission. They are allies and knew at least one living member of my clan and where she lived and decided to keep the seal and the information to themselves. Calling for their execution and release of Fu into the care of my clan was the most merciful retribution I could ask, wasn't it? You should have executed them right where they stood, but I understand that you are being your merciful self again, Sasuke said before glaring at the elders with his Sharingan active. Watch your tongue, boy. You may be the last Uchiha, but you have no say here, neither does Uzumaki. Elders, that's enough. You have committed treason against Taki by stealing from an ally and then trying to defraud them, which led to the dissolving of a nearly century-old treaty. Your actions have harmed Taki and for that you shall pay. Even if Naruto-sama didn't call for your execution, I would have had you executed anyway. Now be silent before I decided to have your families charged with treason as well. That statement from Shibuki caused the clamoring elders to suddenly become quiet before one of them growled out, "You would side with an outsider against your own people." Before anyone could react, one of the elders made a hidden sign causing 2 teams of Anbu to appear. Shibuki looked startled as the Anbu drew their tanto. "What the hell are you doing? Stand down, Anbu." "They won't listen to you, Shibuki. We were planning to tell you later, but we have decided to have you replaced. You are too soft. You protect the demon while ignoring her transgressions against the village, and you are a poor leader, unable to discipline your subordinates. Anbu, execute them." The guards standing at the base of the administration building suddenly straightened their back in shock. Before they could say anything, a man nearing his 40s walked past them with a guard of 6 samurai and ninja. The man was wearing robes made of green silk and wearing a small gold circlet encrusted with jewels on his head. After the man and his guards were outside earshot, one of the guards turned to his fellow and asked, "Did you know Daimyo-sama was going to be here?" His companion, a young kunoichi, nodded with a shocked face before peeking her head through the door to see if the daimyo was gone. The Taki daimyo walked up the stairs and came to the top floor when he heard a commotion. Turning towards the source, he saw an elder ordering 2 teams of Anbu to execute Shibuki, a mint-haired girl, and the Konoha ninja, among them being the Uzu daimyo, and his target. Before the man could put a stop to the farce occurring in front of him, the Anbu had already moved to strike down their targets. Just before the Anbu reached their targets, a wave of nauseous feelings flooded the man's head as an invisible pressure fell on his shoulders, causing him to fall on his knees. Within moments it had passed, and when the man stood and looked about, he saw that he wasn't the only one affected. Everyone except Naruto was on their knees. The Anbu on their backs, their masks shattered and frothing at the mouth. The elders were unconscious along with the Uchiha Jonin. Shibuki was barely awake, and the girls were clutching each other for support. The Jonin he recognized as the infamous Kopi ninja, Hitake Kakashi, was also on his knees. From the rising of the man's chest, he could deduce that Kakashi was panting heavily. "What in the 9 circles of hell was that? You downed all of us without moving a muscle," Fu exclaimed softly, but in the quiet that followed the wave of whatever it was, everyone could hear her perfectly. "That was my killing intent amplified by Senjutsu," Naruto said with a grin, causing Fu and Shibuki to gape while Sakura to shake her head in exasperation. "Really, Naruto? Give us a warning next time." Sakura complained as she used an Ryojutsu to wake Sasuke. The first thing Sasuke asked was, what did he do now? Focused killing intent amplified by Senjutsu, if his word can be believed, Sakura said with a huff as she pulled Sasuke up to his feet. "Hello Raiden Dono. I was planning to meet you soon enough, but since you are already here, I think that it is best we don't waste time." "Hello Naruto-sama, what is the agenda?" Naruto sighed before informing the Taki daimyo of the crimes perpetrated by the Taki elders against the Uzumaki and his demands in return. Then their further actions against him, his allies and their own village leader. At the end of the explanation, Naruto said with a grin, "And you saw the end of the confrontation. That's all. I hope I didn't insult you by directly making my demands." "Not at all, Naruto-sama, in fact, you did the right thing. I would like to penalize all of Taki, but it seems that those 5 were the only ones directly involved, but I would like them interrogated, if you don't mind?" "Not at all. That's why I asked they be executed by tomorrow at the latest. It would give Taki's Tandi division time to draw out the information out of the fools. Also, before you ask, as the old treaty has been dissolved, you and your people will need to negotiate a new one," Naruto said with stern expression, causing the man to wince. "Thank you for the head up, Naruto-sama. I will have my advisors draft up a new treaty for your consideration. Now let us retire for some dinner. Shibuki, have your trusted men to arrest these 5 and their lackeys. I want the reports of their interrogation on my desk by dawn." As you wish, Daimyo-sama. Fu, please escort Daimyo-sama, Naruto-sama and their guards. You have permission to use all the power you have at your disposal to protect them and send your sensei up here along with his old teammates. We need to arrest these traitors. Fu nodded before standing up. She was about to follow after the group when Naruto called out, "Fu, get some rest. Your chakra coils need time to heal. I can handle any idiots that come after us." "But that's an order from a seal master. Your seal has been changed. It needs time to completely settle. Besides, Sakura-chan will agree with me." "That's right, Fu, eat dinner and turn in early. You saw that Naruto is never caught off guard. Nothing other than a Jikoken ninjutsu can cause him to falter." Fu nodded before looking at Shibuki, who nodded in return, causing the girl to sigh in relief. Her chakra coils did still cause her some phantom pains. Shibuki woke up from his troubled sleep to the sound of knocking. Yawning widely, Shibuki opened the door to his office to see the head of Tandi standing in front of him along with Naruto. "Huh? What's going on?" "Shibuki, 4 ninja are infiltrating Taki right at this moment. One of them is Jonin level and the other 3 Chunin. I know you ought to know." Shibuki blinked dumbly before cursing as the head of Tandi stared at Naruto in shock. "How did you?" "I sense them." "Then can you tell me if they are heading towards the sacred tree from the north side of the village?" "That's right. How did you know?" Naruto asked as Shibuki gaped at the two in shock. "The elders are working with Nukemen of Taki. Your sensei to be exact, Shibuki-sama. Their target is the hero's water. How should we handle the situation? What does the hero's water do?" Shibuki stared at Naruto for a moment before sighing. "It increases the power of the consumer at the cost of his or her life force. Mobilize the active ninja. We can't allow Suin Sensei and his followers get it. No, let them get it. My team and I will handle them. Besides, you said that they sacrificed their life force for the power. We just need them to use up the power boost, and they will die by their own actions," Naruto said with a grin, causing Shibuki and the head of Taki's Tandi to gape at his confidence, before Shibuki nodded in agreement. Naruto's grin widened before he said, "Good, I will wake up my team and intercept them. Where's the hero's water kept?" "A hollow in the sacred tree. Fu usually guards it, as the area is very peaceful." Naruto nodded before dissipating in a cloud of smoke. Shibuki stared at the place Naruto occupied before asking, "He would have gone after them regardless of my decision, wouldn't he?" "It looks like it. What should we do?" "We wait and hope that Naruto-sama and his team is able to defeat them. Then again, I think Naruto-sama can easily defeat them himself," Shibuki said to a nod from his subordinate. "Why are we handling this situation? Shouldn't ninja from Takigakure handle intruders in their village?" Sasuke grumbled out as he rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. "Simple really, it is a good chance to test out your ninju in live combat. Also, since we are handling the situation, especially since we don't have to, not after what the elders did, Taki will be even more indebted to Konoha and our clans. It is a win-win situation with both wins going to us," Naruto said cheerfully, causing Sasuke to nod his head in understanding. Behind them, Sakura and Kakashi just sighed at the blonde-haired sage's overexcited demeanor. "How many are there anyway?" Kakashi asked with boredom. He had done such missions before while in Anbu. It was quite the brilliant political move on Naruto's part. 4, 1 Jonin, 3 Chunin. "Kakashi-sensei, are you comfortable enough to take on another Jonin using only ninju yet?" Naruto asked with a frown. "Not that I don't believe you capable of handling other Jonin, but as I said, I want you all to only use ninju." Kakashi hummed before nodding to himself. "I should be able to handle him." "You are going to just observe us, aren't you?" "That's right, don't worry, I will intervene if I see any of you being overwhelmed. I won't even need to move from my spot," Naruto said with a nonchalant grin, causing Sakura to growl in annoyance. Sasuke just nodded in acceptance before he smirked. "So are we ambushing them?" Naruto looked surprised at Sasuke's query. "Ambush? Why would we do that?" Sasuke growled in annoyance. "That's the standard procedure, isn't it?" Sakura and Kakashi nodded in agreement with the last Uchiha, only for Naruto to grin. "That's for weaklings. We can easily take them. I have the utmost trust in my teammates. We are going to intercept them from the front after they get their hands on the hero's water." Sakura looked surprised at Naruto's audacity. She still remembered how strong Shibuki became last time. Naruto can't believe that ninju would give them enough advantage to defeat an enemy under the effects of the hero's water, can he? As he was about to voice her concerns, Naruto said, "You don't really have to defeat them. From what Shibuki said, the hero's water, while increasing the power of the drinker, also claims their life. You just have to hold them back until the effects wear off, then they will die for their stupidity. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura looked surprised at that before Sakura spoke up. You are banking on the fact that we should have more physical and mental stamina to outlast the effects of the hero's water, especially since we aren't going to be using much chakra. That's right, Sakura-chan. Anyway, they have already drunk the hero's water. We are going to reach them within the minute. Sakura, I would like you to focus on Earth this time. Kakashi-sensei, try lighting generation and fire. Sasuke, don't even try lightning. We don't need you blowing yourself up again. Everyone nodded in acceptance as Kakashi asked, how strong did they become? Low to high. It is a fixed percentage gain from what I can sense. Purified nature chakra is flowing through them. Interesting phenomenon. I need to take a sample to Gamamaru-sensei. Stop rambling, Naruto, Sakura exclaimed with annoyance, we are here. Huh. Oh, have fun, Naruto said before jumping up onto a tree branch. Placing his right hand on the branch, a complex sealing formula formed before a translucent orange barrier formed around him. After a moment, the barrier flashed before vanishing along with Naruto. Sakura and Kakashi focused their senses at the spot to find no trace of Naruto being present. No sound, no smell, no chakra pressure, nothing. That must be some kind of stealth barrier seal, Kakashi exclaimed in excitement before turning his attention to the arriving Nukenin. Hotake Kakashi, the Kopi ninja. I didn't expect you to be here. No matter, you won't be able to defeat me and my team. Not now that we have ingested the hero's water. An older spiky-haired man said with a superior smirk. Though I am surprised that the elders and Shibuki led a foreign ninja and Urtaki. Such a thing hasn't happened since Senju Hashirama and his wife Mito came to deliver the Nanabi. And look at the two cute Jonin he has brought along as reinforcements. Run along, children, you don't want to die now, do you? The lone woman said with a mocking tone, causing Sasuke to grit his teeth and activate his Sharingan. Sakura mentally groaned at the arrogance the Kunoichi was showing. Oh look! It's the last Uchiha. There are rumors that Orochimaru of the Sannin will pay handsomely for a new Uchiha. We should capture him, the silver-haired Ame Nukenin said with a grin. We should try to capture the girl as well. She would be worth a lot on the black market. I heard Gato likes them young. The final Nukenin exclaimed with a lecherous expression on his face, causing both Sakura and the Kunoichi to look at him in disgust while Kakashi and Sasuke frowned. Sensei, can we just end this already? Sakura asked with a sweet smile while directing a surprising amount of killing intent for fresh Shinon, catching everyone, including Kakashi, by surprise. Behind his barrier, Naruto winced before saying out loud, that was a dumb mistake. Sakura-chan is smiling that creepy smile again. You haven't taught your Jonin well, have you? Though I must ask, why happened to your final Jonin? Are you so poor a teacher that you have already lost someone? I think that is enough. Ah. Suin, these are Hisame, Kirisame and Murasame, Suin said, point to the Kunoichi, the lecherous Nukenin and the silver-haired Nukenin in turn. Now since the time for talk is over, you three take care of the Jonin, the final member should be hiding somewhere. Hisame, take care of him. Murasame, you get the Uchiha. Kirisame, try not to harm the girl too much. Gato won't pay much for damaged goods, Suin said, getting affirmative nods from his team, but before the Hisame could move, Sakura stomped her left foot, causing the ground under the enemy Kunoichi to lurch forward, catching the intruders by surprise. Before Hisame could even right herself, Sakura had already stomped the ground again, causing a large boulder to rise into the air. Throwing her fist into the boulder, Sakura directed the floating piece of earth to fly towards the airborne Kunoichi with extreme speed. The boulder crashed into Hisame, throwing her into a tree before crushing her under its weight. With a scream of pain, Hisame fainted. A stream of blood flowing down the side of her mouth. What kind of ninjutsu is that? There were no hand seals involved, Kirisame stuttered out in panic before another boulder flew towards him. Luckily, he was able to regain his senses and dodge before growling out in anger. Screw selling you to Gato. I am going to kill you. I would like to see you try, mongrel, Sakura exclaimed as she pulled out another boulder from the ground and launched it towards Kirisame, who quickly made the hand seals for Suten, Suiben no Jutsu. Swinging the newly formed water whip, Kirisame was able to partially redirect boulder before jumping out of the way and into the path of another boulder. With quick reflexes, Kirisame saved himself by using his whip to pull himself out of the way of the second boulder before swinging the whip at Sakura. Is that all you can do? Sakura said, raising a wall of rock. The whip struck the wall, chipping it before retracting. The wall lowered to Sakura's waist as Sakura placed a palm on the top of the wall. I am quite disappointed. Being a Nukenin, I expected that you would at least be Chunin level in skills. It seems I was mistaken, especially since you can't seem to face even a freshly graduated Jonin. Kirisame growled in anger before jumping down. Channeling Raten Chakra through the water whip, he struck out at Sakura again. With a malicious grin, Sakura slashed her palm forward, causing a thin blade of earth to fly and intercept the whip. To Kirisame's surprise, the blade, instead of being slashed in half by the whip, slashed through the whip before exploding into shards and dust, some of the shards and causing minor wounds on his exposed skin. Right after that, many more blades of Rick flew towards him, causing him to draw out 2 kunai and charge them with Raten Chakra. As one after another blade reached him, Kirisame swung his arms, deflecting the blades. Unfortunately, there were too many blades to redirect, so he started getting minor slash wounds. As Sakura fought Kirisame, Sasuke concentrated in fighting against Murasame. It seemed that the man was better than the other two, since Sasuke was having a bit of trouble handling him, especially since Murasame used that weird Kokoro Keisoku no Jutsu. As another barrage of water kunai flew towards him, Sasuke gritted his teeth as he swung his right leg, causing a massive wave of flames to form and intercept the weapons, causing them to disperse into the air as steam. Growling, Sasuke punched forward, releasing a stream of fire at Murasame, who dodged before launching another wave of water weapons. Jumping into the air using a burst of fire to rise higher than usual, Sasuke threw his body into a forward spin. Waves of fire lashed out at Murasame in an unpredictable pattern. Gritting his teeth, Murasame went through some hand seals, causing the water around him to fly up, freeze into chunks of jagged ice and fly forward and intercept the whips of fire. Lucky for him, the flames weren't hot enough to completely melt all the ice, so some of the chunks flew towards Sasuke, or so he thought. As the jagged pieces of ice struck the Uchiha, he burst into smoke and was replaced by a log. You know, Sasuke, when I said only Ninshu, I meant it. Sasuke whipped his head to the side to see Naruto standing beside him with a disappointed look on his face. I know, but dying soon isn't on my bucket list at the moment, Sasuke said with annoyance, and he breathed heavily, causing Naruto to just shake his head. You aren't using the strength of fire comes from the breath. You are trying to use your anger to fuel the fire. While that is effective to a certain degree, true firebending comes from breath. Let me show you, Naruto said before jumping down. Getting into a relaxed stance, Naruto closed his eyes, raised his fists to his waist and took a deep, calm breath. Murasame was surprised at Naruto's appearance but realized that he must have been the hidden Jonin. With a grin, Murasame realized Naruto not focusing his attention towards him. Making a few hand seals, Murasame used the same jutsu he used against Sasuke the right before the Uchiha vanished. As the wave of jagged ice flew towards him, Naruto's eyes snapped open as he brought back his right fist while extending his left palm. Moving his hands in an anti-clockwise motion, a circle of fire formed. Tracing the motions of his hands before he thrust them forward, causing the circle to suddenly solidify and release a massive wave of pale yellow flames that easily vaporized the ice chunks and most of the water under the place the wave passed. Murasame watched in shock as the wave rushed towards him. He tried to make the hand seals for the Kawarimi no Jutsu, but just before he finished the final seal, the flames swallowed him. The screams of agony lasted only for a moment before the flames snuffed out, leaving behind the charred corpse of Murasame. Naruto bowed his head for a moment before turning to Sasuke and said, "That is the true power of fire. Strength comes from breath, not anger." Sasuke nodded dumbly, Naruto puffing away in smoke, as he stared at the corpse of his opponent. This is unreal. What kind of jutsu allows someone to do this? The Tandi had asked as the other Taki ninja nodded in agreement. Fu watched in shock at how easily Naruto defeated Murasame with a single technique using only a clone, while Sakura easily took out the Kunoichi before the main fight even began and was now playing around with the remaining Ame-nukenin. Spikes of rock rising from the ground in a blink of an eye, boulders flying with great speed, walls of earth breaking into jagged shards of rock and flying towards their target, all without the use of a single hand seal. The whole battle was unbelievable. I can't even sense any chakra in the earth or the fire. It's almost like they are bending the very elements to their wills. A Jonin exclaimed in shock. That's because they are. A childish voice called out in glee, causing the gathered Taki ninja to jump. Drawing their kunai, they turn only to come face to face with Naruto standing behind them with a foxy grin on his face. Calming down, Shibuki asked the question floating about in their heads, "What do you mean, Naruto-sama?" Naruto's feature changed from childish glee to a prideful expression as he said, "What you see are the results of learning using Ninshu, the predecessor of ninjutsu." "What is Ninshu, Naruto-sama?" a Jonin asked tentatively, fearing of offending the young daimyo with his ignorance. "Is this the style you have started teaching a handful of Konoha ninja? I believe that you used similar techniques during your evaluation, didn't you?" Shibuki asked with awe as he turned back to the fight, hoping to not miss any of it. Nodding, even though Shibuki couldn't see it, Naruto said, "That's right. Ninshu is the art the Rikudo Sennin taught our world when he gifted us the light that is chakra. It is the use of chakra to connect not only to each other, but to nature itself. His elder son had perverted this sacred art into what we now call ninjutsu. Not only is Ninshu more potent, even the most powerful techniques require very little chakra cost in comparison to ninjutsu of the same caliber. Granted, ninjutsu is easier to learn, but Ninshu is better." "If I may, Naruto-sama," the Tanji had asked, getting a nod from Naruto, "how did you come to learn the art and at such a young age as well?" "I became a Gama Sennin by observing the battle between a snake summon and Dode summon. With my sensory skills, I realized both were using Senjutsu in minor amounts to increment their abilities. Studying how they did it, I recreated it. When the toads learned of it, they decided to test me. It isn't common to become a sage without help, in fact only Senju Hashirama is the only other person to achieve the feat. Originally the Gama Sennin Fukasaku was supposed to administer the test, but the Ogama Sennin superseded him. I was already using a different variant of Sennin Modo Fukasaku, the variant that Gamamaru Sensei and his previous student the Rikudo Sennin used, so he took me in as his pupil. After that, he taught me the theory behind Ninshu and let me figure it out. Nothing more really." Everyone stared in shock, their mouths hanging open before Fu said, "You are a prodigy. There is no other explanation." "No, I just work hard. Very hard to gain my abilities. Now before I go, Shibuki, I would advise that you don't use the hero's water at all if you can. The water is infused with purified nature chakra, the same we sages use in a baser form. The purified form prevents petrification but instead damages the life force. Only a sage would be able to use it without ill effects. I would advise that if you have a summons contract, see if they will be willing to teach you Senjutsu before allowing anyone to use the hero's water. A sage can easily reverse the damage if they know how." With that said, Naruto vanished in a puff of smoke just as Fu said, "Can you teach me?" "You are good, Kakashi, but I didn't realize that you were good enough to use seal-less jutsu," Suin said as Kakashi dodged another wave of shuriken. Without answering, Kakashi punched forward, releasing a wave of scorching hot flames, causing Suin to use Kawarimi to dodge. "Is that all you have got? I thought that the hero's water is supposed to increase a mediocre shinobi's skills. If this is the increase in your skills, then I can only assume that you were subpar even among mediocre shinobi." Kakashi taunted with a bored tone, causing Suin to growl before drinking the rest of the water in the jar he was carrying. Kakashi watched in shock as Suin was suddenly covered in a massive aura of visible chakra. Before he could react, Suin had disappeared and reappeared in front of him, Suin's fist firmly planted in his gut. Coughing up blood, Kakashi tried to kick Suin back only for the former Tikanin to jump back and go through the hand seals for the Suiten, Suryudan no Jutsu. Realizing the danger, Kakashi got into a horse stance before clenching his fingers in a fist, with the index and ring finger extended. Raising his pointed fingers to his head, Kakashi swiped his arms in large circular arcs. Bringing his pointed fingers to his waist, Kakashi launched them forward in a strong jab just as Suin conjured the larger-than-average water dragon. As the water dragon charged at Kakashi, intense streams of blue-white lightning flew out of the extended fingers before colliding with the massive water construct. Everyone knew that Suiten and Raiden were near about equal in strength. Either could win over the other, depending on the user's skill and power. Here, everyone thought that Kakashi was at a disadvantage. From what everyone could see, the water dragon was larger than normal, nearly S rank in power. Now Kakashi's stream of intense lightning would have easily defeated the water dragon if it was a normal one. The Tikanin believed that, at the moment, Kakashi's lightning wasn't strong enough. "That technique doesn't seem strong enough to handle a water dragon of such power. Should we help him, Shibuki-sama?" Ananbu asked with concern, only for Shibuki to shake his head. "No, Naruto-sama told us to leave it to him and his team. Besides, Hatake Kakashi is an elite Jonin marked as a borderline S-rank ninja. I doubt he needs help." As Shibuki said, Kakashi didn't seem that he needed help at all. To everyone's shock, the lightning easily carved through the massive water dragon, causing it to disperse before a massive explosion occurred. The shockwave threw Suin and Kakashi back, but both were easily able to right themselves before looking at their respective opponent. Suin with a shocked and fearful look and Kakashi with the focused look he used to have while in Anbu. "How?" Suin muttered out, his body shaking with indecision. "How what?" Kakashi mocked. "How are you still so weak? You haven't even forced me to use my Sharingan yet. I was expecting more. Maybe, the legend of the hero's water was false, or maybe a mediocre shinobi doesn't get that much of a boost?" Growling, Suin charged at Kakashi, a visible aura of flame-like chakra flowing around the former Tekkanin when suddenly the aura vanished. As soon as the aura vanished, Suin stumbled before falling on his face, blood leaking from his ears, mouth, nose and eyes. "Well, that was anticlimactic. I was expecting you take him down instead of playing around." Kakashi shrugged at what Naruto said. "What can I say, I wanted to test out my skills in ninjutsu, so I decided to play around instead of ending the fight as soon as I could. Besides, you said no ninjutsu, as far as I know, that also includes dojutsu." "Not really, but I can agree that if you master ninjutsu without your Sharingan, with it you would easily become a high-ass ranked shinobi." Kakashi nodded in appreciation as he kneeled down beside Suin and placed 2 fingers on his neck. "No pulse. He is dead, just as you said. How did the others do, Naruto?" "Better than I expected. Sakura-chan's case, Sasuke could have been better, but his mentality is still not stable enough to bring out the true power of fire. I will have to spend some time helping him get out of his present mindset. Let's round these idiots' corpses up and meet up with the Taki ninja nearby. Lead the way, Naruto. You still have to check the security seals. How long do you think it will take?" "Not more than a couple of days, especially with a liberal use of Kage Bunshine," Naruto said as he sealed Suin's corpse in a scroll before he and Kakashi headed to Sasuke's position to repeat the procedure. "Give up already, you are losing blood too fast. Within moments, you are going to start getting lightheaded," Sakura said with a smirk, causing Kirisame to growl before throwing a bunch of water kunai at which were promptly blocked by a wall of stone. Though Kirisame couldn't see her, Sakura had just punched the wall, causing thousands of sharp jagged shards to fly towards the tired Kirisame. As Kirisame was dodging and redirecting the shards, 2 pieces of rock jutted out of the ground and crushed his right foot between them. With a loud scream, Kirisame fell to the ground, clutching his leg right above the ankle as he tried to pull it free. While he was thus distracted, Sakura steeled her nerves and launched a wave of rising spikes at the downed Menin. Hearing the sound of the emerging spikes, Kirisame looked up only for a spike to shoot through his left eye and out the back of his head. Several more spikes followed, tearing through the rest of his body, raising the still warm corpse into the air. His right leg separated from the rest of the body when a spike ripped through Kirisame's right thigh. Seeing the effect of her final technique, Sakura started hyperventilating in shock just as Naruto, Kakashi and Sasuke reached the place. Seeing the corpse, Sasuke turned around and promptly vomited at the condition it was in. He had seen the Uchiha massacre, but the corpse is not brutalized to such a degree. He knew that there were many techniques that could brutalize the corpses, but to see such a thing up close was another thing. Kakashi watched with shock and sadness at the sight. Seeing Sakura's condition, Kakashi believed that this was the first kill the girl had, so was about to approach her, when Naruto threw him the sealing scroll and pulled Sakura into a comforting hug. At first, Sakura didn't respond. She just stared at the corpse with blank eyes before Naruto's soothing voice finally breached her shock. Without realizing, Sakura had grabbed onto Naruto and started brawling into his chest. "I didn't mean to," Sakura said after calming down a bit. Naruto nodded and said, "I know, Sakura-chan. This was a complete accident. We still don't know the full power of ninjutsu. Besides, there is no limit to the techniques one can create. Spikes of rock isn't something that has been seen in Doton before. I know that I am being hypocritical, but you should know that I haven't killed anyone in such a brutal manner before." "It was a shock," Sakura said, her jade eyes still red from her bout of crying. "It wasn't completely your fault, Sakura. From the expression on what's left of Kirisame's face, I can say that he was surprised and shocked just before he died. If he had expected such a technique, he should have been able to dodge most of it, even with his foot clamped to the ground." Sakura looked up to see Kakashi standing beside her with a gentle look in his eyes. "Besides, such things happen. I have a technique that can be used to punch fist-sized holes through someone's chest. Many top-ranking shinobi have to face the moral dilemma of if they should use their more brutal techniques at all. I say, we only use them in the protection of our comrades." "I agree with Kakashi-sensei," Naruto said as he let go of the girl with a bit of reluctance. "My futon." Rasen Shuriken can atomize anything that comes in contact with it. That doesn't stop me from using it, does it? Kakashi looked startled at the revelation as Sakura looked contemplative for a moment before nodding in agreement. You are right, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto. I was being stupid. Besides, if I remember correctly, a Rasen Shuriken can easily reduce a small hill to nothing. Kakashi started choking on his own spit in shock, causing Sakura and Naruto to laugh before Kakashi asked, "You completed the Rasengan?" "That's for me to know, and you to find out. Now let's head back. Sakura-chan looks like she can use a good rest to calm down." "Oi Sasuke, you alright there?" Sasuke finished rinsing his mouth out with the water from his canteen before looking at Naruto and nodding. "I am now. I didn't expect such a brutal sight. I have read of them, but to see one up close." Sasuke drifted off as his face paled a bit before shaking his head. "Alright then, let's head back. I will carry the Kunoichi, she should still be alive," Naruto said, causing the rest of his team to nod. Picking up Hisame without any sign of effort, Naruto rushed towards the place the Taki ninja were assembled. Kakashi, Sakura and Sasuke looked at each other before rushing after the retreating back of their blonde-haired teammate. Late in the afternoon, Sakura woke up with a cold sweat. Sitting up, Sakura reached out and took a drink from the glass of water that was on the bedside table when Sasuke walked in with a bowl of salad in his hand. Sasuke wasn't paying attention, so Sakura watched with amusement as Sasuke sat down on his bed and started munching on his salad. Sakura made a mental note to remember the rare sign of pleasure and happiness Sasuke exhibited as he ate the slices of tomato. After a few moments, her stomach grumbled, causing the pink-haired girl to silently get out of bed and walk towards the exit when Sasuke finally realized that his only female teammate was finally awake. "HN. So you're awake?" Naruto and Kakashi are out with Shibuki, checking the integrity of the seals. "Catch, Naruto has left this pouch of Rio for your lunch and if you want to buy any souvenirs. Be back by evening. They wanted to discuss something with us. Also Fu was looking for you. She should be in the lobby," Sasuke said without preamble as he threw the pouch of Rio Sakura, who promptly caught it. Nodding her thanks, Sakura left the room. Walking down to the lobby of the hotel they were staying at, Sakura saw Fu sitting on one of the chairs, munching on a bag of potato chips, completely ignorant of the hateful glares everyone was directing at her. "Hello Fu. I heard you were looking for me." Looking up, Fu smiled as she stood up. "That's right, I wanted to talk to you about something." Sakura nodded. "Have you had lunch yet Fu?" Fu shook her head, causing Sakura to smile. "Neither have I. Why don't you join me? And don't worry, if anyone give you trouble, let me take care of it." Fu gave a nervous smile but nodded. "Alright, but you don't really need to get in trouble for me." "Nonsense, it's the exact opposite really. Jinchuriki should be respected, not despised. Anyone who turns a blind eye to the situation doesn't deserve to be called a human," Sakura said with vehemence, causing Fu's smile to brighten in response. "This is interesting," Naruto mumbled, gaining the attention of Kakashi and Shibuki. "What do you mean, Naruto-sama?" Shibuki asked with worry. Taki was already on thin ice due to the elder's behavior. He was hoping that there won't be any more unforeseen situations that will cause the precarious relationship between Taki and the Uzumaki to completely fail. There has been tampering done on the seal. Probably by the elders, or on their orders. It has actually weakened the seal as a whole. This array wasn't meant to have loopholes. I am surprised that the whole array hasn't destabilized and taken the whole of Taki with it. If the loophole is activated for too long, the feedback loop would create a cascade failure in the array. The explosion would not only take out Taki, but much of the surrounding lands as well. Seeing the grim expression on Naruto's face, Kakashi shivered. Beside the silver-haired Jonin, Shibuki's face took on the countenance of horror at the precarious situation his village was in. Shibuki shook his head and asked the question that was floating about both Kakashi and his head, "Will you be able to fix it?" Naruto nodded. "Not going to be a problem. Lucky for you, the backup array was left untouched. I can use it to keep the protections active while make the necessary corrections. I should be done in a couple of hours. I hope you both have brought something with you keep yourselves busy with. But before that, has the elders been executed yet?" "Not yet Naruto-sama, Daimyo-sama decided to wait till Hisame has been properly interrogated. He wants to add more crimes to the list." Naruto nodded before saying, "Then inform Raiden Dono that the elders had also played around with the security features of the village. If they wanted, they could easily hire Nuknin to attempt a coup d'etat, and since you wouldn't be expecting an attack from inside, they would have been successful." Shibuki nodded with a stony face. I understand, Naruto-sama, the thought had crossed my mind. I will inform Daimyo-sama about this. They are scheduled to be executed at high noon tomorrow. Will you be attending? No, I won't. I will be checking how Fu's seal has settled. I will need your and Sakura's help, Kakashi-sensei. Can you ask Sasuke to attend the execution? Sure thing, Naruto, you just fix the seal here. I want to see how Sakura's doing after her first kill. Kakashi asked with worry. Naruto nodded before he created 4 clones to aid him. For the next 2 hours, Naruto and 3 of his clones worked in tandem to fix the main array, while the 4th made sure that no chakra fed back into the main array from the backup array. It was amazing how Naruto or one of his clones would change a sub-array and then diagnose it by only activating it and placing a metal plate engraved with the Uzumaki clan symbol to it. If the symbol glowed red, they would recheck the array. If it glowed white, they would move on to the next sub-array. Kakashi had seen his sensei work on seals before, but the way Naruto was working and the simple tool he was using was completely different. Then again, his sensei wasn't an Uzumaki, and Kakashi himself hadn't seen an Uzumaki work on seals before, so this was quite the treat. Finally, after nearly an extra hour passed before Naruto was finally satisfied with the seal. He nodded to the final clone, who nodded back before letting the backup array reconnect to the main one. Kakashi and Shibuki watched as the backup array glowed white before dimming and going dark. At the same time, the main array started glowing with a faint white light that intensified before suddenly dimming in a flash of white light. Naruto placed the metal plate at the bridging array and saw the engraving glow white, causing the blonde to smile. Alright, everything is fine now. There are no feedback loops present anywhere in any of the arrays. Also, the backup array is in perfect working condition, so I conclude a portion of our contract fulfilled. After I check how Fu's new seal is setting, I will declare our contract fulfilled. Shibuki nodded to Naruto's statement before saying, Fu's discharge and transfer papers are ready, Naruto-sama. Daimyo-sama has personally countersigned the papers so that no one can complain. He has also included a paper to transfer the Nanabi to the Uzumaki clan as part of the payment to regain Taki's honor. Naruto nodded before saying, that's good. I will pick up the papers right before we leave for Konoha. Fu will be accompany us immediately. Make sure that her personal artifacts are packed and ready to go. We leave the day after tomorrow, Naruto said imperiously, causing Shibuki to shiver but nod in agreement. As you wish, Naruto-sama. Also, Daimyo-sama asked me to inform you that the new treaty will be delivered to you at the time of the Chunin exams. We hope that won't be an inconvenience? Not at all, Shibuki. Now let's head out. I can feel Sakura and Fu in the middle of the Commerce District, or at least I think it is the Commerce District. So may civilian chakra signatures. Naruto said as his eyes flashed gold for a second. Naruto didn't wait for Shibuki to answer and left, leaving a stunned Shibuki behind. Being told that Naruto could sense the whole of Taki was something, seeing it in action was shocking. So what did you wish to talk to me about, Fu? Sakura said while she discreetly observed the behavior of the civilians around them. Most of them were glaring at Fu while some were staring at her with suspicion and concealed hostility. I was wondering what me being a retainer to the Uzumaki clan would entail? While I am grateful to Naruto, I am a bit apprehensive of his intentions. Fu said nervously, causing Sakura to giggle. Fu frowned, but before she could ask what was so funny, Sakura said, sorry, but Naruto doesn't have any ulterior motives other than protecting and helping you. You know, there is an organization of S-ranked criminals out there. Their goal is to gather all 9 Bijou and fuse them into the Jubi. Only Naruto and I know about it at the moment, and maybe Jiraiya-sama of the Sannin. Make sure to not let anyone know you know. That would put you in grave danger. Seeing Sakura's serious expression, Fu gulped and nodded in agreement. Alright. I will make sure that no one learns of this information from me. Sakura nodded. Good. Now you understand why Naruto browbeat Taki to surrender you and Chomei. You aren't ready to handle an S-ranked shinobi, let alone 2. Konoha is better prepared for such an eventuality. Besides, Naruto can handle a duo himself, and that's without Kurama's help. Anyway, as a retainer, you'll be expected to put the Uzumaki clan above everything, but to tell you the truth, you'll be a retainer in name only. We have our own problems. A man named Danzo would try and get you under his thumb. As a retainer of the Uzumaki, he won't dare to kidnap you. He fears Naruto and his retaliation. So practically, I can still lead my own life. I will just need to put the Uzumaki above others and I public, call an Uzumaki, Sama? Fu asked with incredulity. It can't be that simple, can it? It's exactly that simple, Fu. Naruto isn't a tyrant, Nor is he like other nobles and royals. He is quite a laid-back guy, sometimes an idiot, but can be depended on completely. Hello Haruno-san, having a late lunch? Sakura and Fu quickly stood up and bowed to the newcomer. Daimyo-sama. Fu said. Raiden-sama, how may I be of service? Sakura said, keeping her head bowed. Rise you two. I was hoping if you know where Naruto-sama is? Doing as the daimyo commanded, Sakura and Fu stood up from their bow and looked at the man with nervous expressions. Sakura mentally sighed before saying, I am sorry, but I don't know where he is particular, but I know that he is checking the barrier seals, so he should be where the arrays are. Raiden nodded, thank you Haruno-san. When you see him, can you please tell him that unfortunately, I will have to leave tomorrow right after the execution of the elders. I really need to get back to the capital and my palace so that I can get my advisors together to help draft the new treaty. Of course Raiden-sama, I will make sure that Naruto knows. I already know Sakura. I heard all of it. Raiden Dono, please don't waste your valuable time with pleasantries. If you need to leave, I won't take offense. After all, who better than Shinobi understand the value of time, Naruto said with a smile that Sakura realized was a polite mask. It seems that Naruto was quickly becoming a good politician. Raiden nodded, thank you for understanding Naruto-sama. Now before I leave, can I be of help? Not really, everything is done already. I will check Fu's seal tomorrow and check how well it has settled before declaring the contract fulfilled. After that, we head home. Anything else you need to know, I have told Shibuki to tell you, no need to waste time in repeating the same thing. Raiden nodded before leaving with his guards. Naruto smirked when he sensed the annoyance Raiden felt at Naruto's polite yet subtle dismissal. You know, you shouldn't dismiss fellow daimyo like that, Sakura said with a grin that Naruto returned. Beside him, Kakashi grinned under his mask. Fu and Shibuki looked confused for a moment before their eyes widened in realization. Since Shibuki was already here, Naruto's statement was a dismissal. A subtle one. But one they were sure that the daimyo picked up. I don't know what you mean Sakura-chan. I just pointed out that Shibuki already knew what I would say. Raiden Dono could have directly asked Shibuki right here. Sakura just shook her head before saying, are you lot joining us for a late lunch? Sorry Haruno-san, but I must get back to my paperwork. A lot has piled up, and I now have to also check the paperwork the elders had done. It will be one hell of a tedious time for me, Shibuki said before turning to Fu. Be a good hostess Fu and show our guests around Taki. Sure thing Shibuki. Make sure you keep an eye open for more assassination attempts. Fu said with a cheeky smile causing Shibuki to grumble before bowing to Naruto and leaving in a sunshine. Naruto and Kakashi took seats at Fu and Sakura's table and after placing their orders, Kakashi turned Sakura and asked with a worried tone, are you feeling alright Sakura? This wasn't my first kill Kakashi-sensei. I had already killed before I became a Genin. Remember that Naruto and I used to sneak out of Konoha for training. We had killed a couple of bandits before. I was just shocked at the brutality of my technique, nothing more. Most of my techniques are either subtle or blunt force trauma based. The amount of trauma Kirisame went through was just shocking. I will be alright in the future. Kakashi nodded before saying, if you say so, keep in mind that I am here to talk too. Sakura nodded with gratitude as she ate a bit of her salad. Beside her, Fu was whispering with Naruto. Citizens of Taki. I come before you with grave news. It seems that our trusted elders have been misusing the trust for their own gain. They have abated theft from an allied royal clan, the Uzumaki. They ordered the changing of the seal that keeps the Nanabi imprisoned to an ineffective one. It is a miracle that the seal held. We could have had the Nanabi rampage across the village. They had tampered with the barrier seal that keeps all of us protected. And finally they tried to assassinate an allied daimyo, perpetrate a coup d'etat and help Nukemen sneak into Taki. All of which are treasonous crimes. Because of them, a nearly century-old alliance treaty has been dismissed, which may lead to the loss of our treaty with Konoha. They have brought ruin upon Taki and her inhabitants. For these crimes, I have sentenced them to execution. Be warned, treason will not be tolerated. Anbu bring in the criminals, Raiden said causing the 10 Anbu to drag the elders to the execution platform erected in the middle of the village. All the elders were gagged, hands tied behind their backs and bags over their heads. The Anbu tied them to posts before pulling of the bags and then removing the gags. As soon as the gags were removed, the elders started begging for their lives. The Anbu took tied ninja wires around the throats of the 5 treasonous elders before handing the ends to another Anbu, who took them her hand before channeling Raiden chakra through them. Sasuke watched from the back of the crowd as the elders screamed in pain. Many of the civilians turned away while others glared at the elders, some crying out of the Anbu to increase the strength of the current. Blood started leaking out of the eyes, ears, mouth and nose of the now silent elders, still screaming, their vocal cords torn beyond help. It took another couple of minutes before the elders stopped screaming and slumped in their binds, causing the Anbu to stop channeling Raiden chakra. Airayanin walked forward and checked the elders before approaching the daimyo. Daimyo-sama, all 5 elders are dead. Their hearts have collapsed and their brains fired. There is no hope of reviving them. Execution complete. Raiden nodded before turning back to the crowd. As you can see, the treacherous elders have been executed. Burn this sight to your minds. This is what awaits those who betray Taki. Dismissed. The crowd left silently, leaving behind Sasuke, who approached the Taki daimyo. Seeing the approaching Uchiha, Raiden motioned for his guard to wait and let him come close. What can I do for you, Uchiha-san? I was wondering, Daimyo-sama, what is the punishment dealt to Nukenin? If caught alive, they are tortured to extract all information of their activities before being publicly executed like the elders were. That's as if they were of Taki. Foreigners are either handed over to their home village if allies, or killed anonymously. If it seems impossible to catch them alive, they are killed on the spot. Why do you ask? I heard that you were a shinobi, and since you have no reason to butter up to me like some Konoha ninja do, I decided that you would be the best person to ask. I could have asked Naruto, but he is quite merciful, so his decisions may be different. Raiden nodded before saying, always trust your teammates, but still be skeptical. You don't know when an ally becomes the enemy and when an enemy can become an ally. Sasuke nodded before bowing, thank you for the wisdom, Daimyo-sama. May I leave? You may, Raiden said imperiously, causing Sasuke to rise from his bow and vanish in a sunshine. Here's the payment for the job, Naruto-sama, Shibuki said as he handed over a scroll to Naruto, who took it with a nod before sealing it into a storage seal-on in his flak jacket. And here are Fu's discharge and transfer papers, which include the transfer of ownership of the Nanabi to the Uzumaki clan. Naruto took the next set of scrolls and browsed through them for a moment before nodding and sealing them in another storage scroll. Thank you for your cooperation, Shibuki. We will leave now. If you wish to have a private conversation with Fu, we will wait by the entrance of the building, Naruto said before walking out of room with his team, leaving behind Fu. Shibuki looked at Fu with tender eyes before pulling the girl into a tight embrace. Take care of yourself, Fu. I will miss you, but I know that you will have a better life now. I hope to hear great things about you in the future. Fu cried as she hugged the man she considered an elder brother and said, I will make sure that you are proud, Shibuki. Make sure to sleep with an eye open. I don't want to hear that you were assassinated in your sleep. Shibuki chuckled before letting the girl go. Fu smiled before taking of the Taki Hitayate and placed it on Shibuki's table. Shibuki took it in his hand and stared at it for a moment before handing it back to Fu. Keep it. I know that you can't wear it anymore, but you can still keep it to remember me by. Fu nodded with teary eyes before bowing and leaving the room. Fu met up with the group of Konoha ninja only to see Kakashi reading a scroll with the Konoha symbol watermarked into it. Realizing that it was a field order directly from the Hokage, Fu asked, what happened? Are there any change in orders from the Hokage? Kakashi rolled up the scroll and turned to his team and Fu with a grim expression. Sighing, Kakashi said, Team 10 took a C-ranked mission recently. It was supposed to be a standard escort and guard mission. Hearing this, Naruto and Sakura tensed. Both were hoping that it wasn't the wave mission. First, it was too soon, and they really hoped that the changes they implemented didn't change the time frame of their self-appointed mission. Their client, the bridge builder Tazuna, had lied. It seems that Gato of Gato Shipping Corporation has taken over Nami no Kuni. Their daimyo was already killed. Gato has placed a contract on Tazuna's head as Tazuna is building a bridge that would destroy the trade monopoly Gato holds over Nami. He has hired the Demon Brothers to take him out. Shikamaru and Choji had easily taken them down, but Asuma fears stronger foes. He has requested backup from Hokage-sama, and we are the only free team there is. We have secondary orders to assassinate Gato. I want you all to hit the shinobi stores to stock up on tools and rations before we head towards Nami. We will meet at the exit in an hour. Hi Kakashi-sensei. Team 7 called out while Fu nodded before the four ran off towards the shinobi section of the Commerce District. Kakashi sighed before summoning Pakun. The small pug looked around before asking, Yo! Kakashi, what do you need? Pakun, I need you to head to Konoha and tell Hokage-sama that Team 7 and the new retainer of the Uzumaki clan, The Nanabe Jinchuriki are heading towards Nami within the hour. Make haste Pakun, I fear I may need you in the near future. Pakun nodded before disappearing in a puff of smoke. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.